Good morning, good afternoon, good evening across the world, depending on where you are today. Got a story that I wanted to bring to my people. Brittney Griner, mostly because her home is Houston, Texas, so I feel a bit of an obligation to vlog this. And I'm just going to keep it straight, okay, to the facts. And I'm also going to tell you about two other people that are currently being held in Russia as well. So Brittney Griner, WNBA star, Houston, Texas native, from Houston, Texas, I should say, star basketball player, has been detained in Russia over alleged drug charges. And she has become the latest of several Americans who have yet to secure their freedom from a country increasingly isolated from the rest of the world. Russia's invasion of Ukraine brought forth global condemnation from governments and people alike who have now boycotted Russia, goods, Russian money, frozen Russian access to banking system, and have enacted crippling sanctions. And while all this was going on, Brittney Griner is sitting somewhere in Russia. It is unknown her exact location right now. She's been detained since February. Trevor Reed and Paul Whelan are also detained in Russia, and I'll tell you about their stories here. This is probably I know it's a horrible time, but it's a good moment to get some press on their stories because it has not exactly been Brittney Griner, 31. They claim that she had cannabis oil in her luggage. She was in Moscow. She had flew to Moscow from New York City, where she was accused of smuggling significant amounts of narcotics into Russia, which is punishable by up to 10 years in prison. Now, while I'm telling you about Brittney Griner, let me tell you about Trevor Reed and Paul Whelan. Age 52, Whelan is age 52, Trevor Reed is age 30. They were arrested and convicted separately for alleged crimes that they emphatically deny, and they were convicted before this Russian incursion into Ukraine. They continue to remain in prison, and they are currently serving extended prison sentences that have been denounced by U.S. authorities as unfair. So here's a little information about their detentions. And I'll show you an actual photo, okay? So you got Brittney Griner, Paul Whelan, Trevor Reed. Now, we know that Brittney Griner has been detained in Russia. Russia authorities refuse to release her whereabouts. She is a two-time Olympic basketball gold medalist, star player in both the United States and Russia, and has been a regular centerpiece in the success of her teams. She's a fantastic basketball player. Many of the details for her detention in Moscow remain in question, including the exact date of her arrest and her current location. And again, I believe she has been held since February. Family members are expressing frustration over the detention and lack of clarity that is being provided by the Russian authorities. And people have been referring to Instagram, Brittney Griner's wife, they've been referring to her Instagram to get the latest, right? I mean, it's not uncommon. People speak out on social media, right? Now, the Biden administration is aware. The Congressional Black Caucus is aware, and they have met with President Biden on this. Matter of fact, they met Monday. Representative Sheila Jackson Lee, who represents Griner's hometown, Houston, shout out to H-Town, said this past Tuesday that she did speak to President Biden during this meeting and noted there is a need for her to be released immediately and for her to receive the help of the United States to demand and facilitate that release. The problem is diplomatic relationships are non-existent right now. Now, Trevor Reed, former U.S. Marine, detained in Russia in 2019, sentenced to 9 years in prison for, quote, endangering the life and health of Russian police officers after a night of drinking. They also claimed that he resisted arrest and attacked officers as they responded to complaints of a disturbance. Reed's girlfriend was actually with him that night and has heavily disputed the allegations by Russian police, saying that the police have actually changed their story and that Trevor Reed was too drunk to resist them. They've been working with U.S. Ambassador to Russia, John Sullivan. They called the trial that was held for him absurd and his sentence ridiculous. Now, the other concern for Trevor Reed is that he says he has been coughing up blood, has had intermittent fevers, pain in the chest, and the family believes he could possibly have tuberculosis. But apparently in the labor camp where he's being held, medical care is extremely hard to come by. And frankly, I don't think the Russians care about an American's health in prison, to be honest with you. And I'll just leave it at that. Now, Paul Whelan, he's a U.S., Irish, British, and Canadian citizen and a former U.S. Marine, was detained at a Moscow hotel in 2018. He was actually arrested on espionage charges. He was convicted and sentenced to 16 years in prison. His trial was widely denounced as unfair by United States officials. And he actually described the grim conditions of the remote labor camp that he's in. He says he spends his days working in a clothing factory that he calls a sweatshop, and that getting medical care is very difficult, and that he's getting through his plight day by day, trying to keep a positive mental attitude about the situation. Now, Paul Whelan's family has also said that he has been the subject of retaliation, including serving time in solitary confinement, where he was not permitted to shower or exercise. And that has been an ongoing 2018, right? 2019, heavy prison sentences handed down. Now, one of the other concerns I have to mention is the fact, and it's absolutely no secret, so I'll go ahead and say it, but Brittney Griner is well known for her LGBT whatever, right? I'm not sure of all of the things that she does, in regards to that, but like, I don't know if she's like a spokesman or what, but Russia has very strict anti-LGBT laws. So that is something I just want to note. And the concern for Brittney Griner's safety, the concern for the fact that she's being detained currently in Russia with, with non-existent diplomatic channels is very concerning. And so we will definitely continue to follow this case. When she pulled into Moscow from New York City, and of course, here in America, right, you're supposed to be innocent until proven guilty, right? although many of us know it doesn't exactly work that way. But being a United States citizen in Russia, especially after all the sanctions that have been leveled against Russia across the world, I hope that many of you will vlog about this. Basically, being, the concern about her plight, the plight of these Americans in Russian custody that puts people on edge. Believe me, there's several good reasons on why that is. Now, Griner, she spends her time annually in Russia. She's been playing for professional leagues because, they make more money playing professional external from the WNBA than they make for the, playing in the WNBA. Her salary is multiple times that of her WNBA compensation. Now, Russian authorities have said that Brittney Griner had cannabis oil in her luggage, and they have accused her of smuggling this narcotic substance. Again, Brittney Griner, age 31, is a powerful, visible figure in the LGBTQ community. And she has now found her life and her freedom in a perilous and very uncertain moment. She's just become a part in the geopolitical chess game that is absolutely controlled by Russian officials at the moment. Her fame, her privilege could shield her somewhat, but her identity as a Black gay woman facing the Russian legal system is a very, very precarious one. As the war intensifies in Ukraine, as economic sanctions have been leveled against Russia from many countries around the world, diplomatic options that have not already waned, but they will continue to wane. Americans must not look away from this story. Don't forget that this has happened. Things may move quite slow, but use your voice to bring attention to it. That's all that Brittney's going to have. Mainstream media will move on. So it's up to you guys to keep it out there, out front. I'll keep you guys posted on this. I'll catch y'all next time.